Hello, my name's Linda Geiser. I work for the Forest Service Air Resource Management Program in the Pacific Northwest region, and I'm an ecologist. I've also been coordinating a program for 20 years in our region to monitor air quality and track status and trends. So today we're standing out in the Columbia River Gorge scenic area looking at lichens, which are one of the elements that we monitor for our program. We're looking for ecological impacts from air pollution by studying the lichens. So there are two ways that you can use lichens, and let's take a look at what lichens are first. We have an oak tree here. The branches are covered with lichens. Lichens are fungi with an algal symbiont or a blue-green bacterial symbiont. And we have several kinds here, these yellow ones, the white and gray ones, the big leafy brown ones over there, and we have some yellowish pendant ones here and some flat leafy like ones here. So as you can see, the lichens are displayed on the trees, and the lichens have a variety of sensitivities to air pollution. So some are more sensitive and some are more tolerant. And by looking at the composition of species that you find on a branch, you can pinpoint your site along an air pollution gradient as well as a climate gradient. So that's one way that we use the lichens for air quality monitoring. We take a tally or make a survey on our sites of what species are present, and then we score the sites based on the relative quantities of sensitive to pollution tolerant species. Another way that we use lichens to monitor air quality is by using the levels of pollutants that have accumulated in the lichens. So lichens being out on the trees, they're not as subject to contamination by pollutants or just other chemicals that might be in soil, for example, the way a vascular plant would be. It's taking up a lot of its elements and minerals right from the soil. The lichens have to get everything to manufacture their plant bodies from the air and from the canopy drip. So they're entirely composed of elements, nutrients that they've pulled from the air, from rain, and from drip from the trees. And so they're very good to monitor pollution because what's in the lichen really is what was in the air. And so what we're doing today is we're going to show you how to collect lichens for elemental analysis, and we'll be going over that protocol in a minute. But first I'd like to tell you what kinds of pollutants we can measure with lichens and with elemental analysis. And it's different depending on if you're looking at the community or if you're looking at the chemical levels, the chemical content of the lichen. So with the community, you're basically looking at acidifying pollutants like sulfur dioxide, acid deposition, acid rain, and fertilizing pollutants like ammonia or nitrates that would come from agricultural sources, or in the case of nitric acid and sulfuric acid, SO2, nitrogen oxides from the burning of fossil fuels. So basically, the community is responding to those two types of pollutants, nitrogen and sulfur-containing pollutants. With the elemental analysis, you can track many more types of pollutants. You can track nitrogen, you can track sulfur, but you can also track metals like mercury, cadmium, lead. And over the long term, you can see trends in these elements in the air based on how much is in the lichens. You can monitor other types of pollutants using elemental analysis like radioisotopes. You can track semi-volatile organic compounds like PCBs or pesticides or polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. There are lots of different compounds that are in the air that get accumulated by lichens that you can use to track air quality and track trends.